The biology of the slump, why fish shut down in deep summer. The deep summer tipping point. Deep in the high sun of July and August, the water grows heavy and still. The lake seems almost suspended in time, devoid of movement along the margins. To the casual eye, the fish have simply disappeared. Standard feeding routines dissolved into silence. But beneath the glassy sheen, an invisible, hard biological ceiling has just been reached. High water temperatures diminish dissolved oxygen while accelerating basic cold-blooded bodily demands. The fish have not left. They have entered a state of strict physiological defense where every unnecessary movement costs far more energy than the warm environment can afford. There is an unmistakable atmospheric pause that governs these stifling afternoons. Air hangs motionless over green water, thick with summer dust. For the angler watching motionless floats, it feels like patience. For the fish below, it is a matter of precise cellular survival. As surface temperatures climb past comfort thresholds, oxygen molecules drift free from the water column, escaping into the hot sky. The fish feel this gradual depletion deep within their gills. What appears as stubborn apathy from the bank is in truth a calculated biological shutdown designed to prevent complete metabolic collapse. Thermal limits and oxygen dissolution. Water possesses a fundamental physical law that dictates every summer movement. The warmer it becomes, the less gas it can physically hold. As temperatures creep upward, dissolved oxygen levels plunge precisely when a fish's core metabolism begins to race. It is a cruel compounding biological paradox. Higher heat demands more oxygen supply to maintain a basic organ function, yet the surrounding water holds substantially less with every passing degree. To swim, feed, or even maintain steady posture requires drawing deep from a rapidly diminishing bank account of life-giving gas. Inside the body of a carp or a tench, cold-blooded biology offers no insulation against the season. Their core temperature matches the lake degree for degree. At 20 degrees Celsius, enzymatic processes accelerate, burning precious reserves at twice the rate of spring. Yet the gills must work harder to strip oxygen from water that is increasingly empty. Every flare of the operculum becomes a deliberate expenditure. When the math no longer adds up, nature enforces a strict biological break. The fish must now slow down or face tissue acidosis and complete exhaustion. Energy debt and cellular cost. Consider the concept of energy debt. When a fish expends more calorie reserves attempting to harvest oxygen than the resulting oxygen yields, it enters a state of physiological bankruptcy. Swimming forward forces water over the gill filaments, but the physical friction of movement consumes energy. In cool spring water, the oxygen return easily justifies that exertion, but in deep summer, that equation breaks down entirely. A single quick burst across the silt can push muscle tissue into an anaerobic stress situation, accumulating lactic acid that cannot be cleared efficiently in this warm, low-oxygen water. To avoid this lethal metabolic deficit, the fish's nervous system triggers a powerful involuntary halt. Feeding impulses are suppressed and are replaced by an overriding biological mandate: preserve oxygen at all costs. Blood flow is redirected primarily to core vital organs, slowing down digestion and sensory processing. The creature becomes locked in a delicate holding pattern, breathing as slowly as the environment allows. It's not sleeping, nor is it asleep to opportunity. It's just holding its breath against the summer heat, waiting for the cooler currents of night. When movement becomes too expensive. When movement becomes an unaffordable luxury, the entire dynamic of the aquatic world shifts. The active foraging paths of dawn and dusk contract into tiny, isolated perches. A carp will not travel 20 yards to inspect a bed of bait if the journey consumes more energy than the food provides. Every fin twitch carries a measurable biological tax. The fish settles into a state of minimal effort, balancing its weight effortlessly in neutral buoyancy, using tiny adjustments of its pectoral fins only when drift threatens to dislodge its position. Anglers often misinterpret this stillness as suspicion, believing the fish have grown wary of hooks and line. In reality, the fish are simply operating under extreme conservation rules. You can drop the finest offering inches from a large fish's mouth during a heat wave, and it may refuse to turn its head. The physical cost of turning, flexing the lateral muscles, and expanding the buccal cavity to take a morsel exceeds the immediate reward. Stillness is not a choice, it is an absolute biological necessity. The biological slump. This state of deep physiological conservation is what we call the summer slump. It is the aquatic equivalent of torpor, a period where life slows to its absolute minimum frequency. Across the lake, top predators and bottom feeders alike fall under the same metabolic trance. Pike lie inert among the deepest reeds, bream gather in dense, motionless shoals in the water. The vibrant, competitive frenzy of spring gives way to a quiet, collective standstill as the ecosystem waits for the sun to lower its guard. Observing this slump requires a shift in perspective. The lake is not dead, it is conserving its very soul. Beneath the placid, glassy surface, millions of cold-blooded organisms are synchronized in a shared strategy of patience. The slump is a masterclass in survival, demonstrating how life adapts to harsh environmental limits. By surrendering to the heat rather than fighting it, the fish preserve their vitality for the cooler, oxygen-rich days of autumn that surely lie ahead. Locating the resting nodes. Even during the deepest slump, fish do not settle randomly. They seek out micro-sanctuaries, resting nodes where oxygen levels remain slightly higher or water temperatures drop just a fraction of a degree. These refuges exist near underwater springs, shaded northerly banks under dense alder canopy, or deep scours where cool groundwater seeps through the gravel. Finding these hidden pockets is crucial for survival, as even a single degree difference can lighten the metabolic load significantly. For those who study the water with quiet reverence, identifying these sanctuary zones reveals the true map of the lake. These are not feeding areas, but sanctuaries of equilibrium. The fish crowd into these cool shade pockets, shoulder to shoulder, sharing the oxygen-rich shelter created by photosynthesizing weeds early in the morning. Understanding these nodes transforms how we view the water, whether it be a lake or a river. It shifts our focus from where fish eat to where they can safely breathe and rest when the world grows too warm. Respecting the pause. As twilight finally settles over the water, the harsh thermal pressure begins to lift. The air cools, the surface ripples under a gentle evening breeze, and oxygen slowly redissolves into the top margins. Only now, as the energy mass shifts back in their favour, will the fish slowly stir from their long daylight trance. The summer slump reminds us that nature operates on cycles of intense activity, balanced by deep, necessary stillness. To understand the biology of the slump is to develop a deeper empathy for the water and its creatures. It teaches us that moments of quiet non-action are not wasted time, but vital periods of recovery and resilience. When the lake goes quiet under the summer sun, we need not force movement. We can simply sit quietly along the bank, match the calm rhythm of the water, and respect the profound wisdom of the pause.